Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm Cynthia, and I'm here to offer you some insights from the tarot with a card of the day. So I just want to thank you for being here and for joining me. And I certainly hope that you've been having a good week so far. And looking forward to the coming days, including today. A wonderful day. Wonderful day. This week we're using the Herb Crafter's Tarot, and I have some information about it in the description box below. So feel free to check that out. It's an absolutely beautiful deck. And the guidebook is wonderful as well. That comes along with it. Not just for card meanings, but also for like actual herb crafts. It's good stuff. Highly recommend it. Love it. In any case, so today's card is 10 of Fire, Guthrie. 10 of Wands. Sometimes when we first start a project, the 10, you're closing a cycle. So there's endings, but there's also new beginnings. To a certain extent, this is also sometimes when we go through the process of deciding that we're going to, do something, take action on something, move forward in a particular area of life, we tend to feel the burden at the outset. We tend to feel like we have to do it all ourselves, and we don't always know where to start. Comfrey, a beautiful herb. It's so good for so many different things. But it definitely eases pressure, soothes pain, lends us to a little bit more flexibility. And it can warm something that's cold and stiff, or it can soothe and relax something that might be flared up and inflamed. So for whatever it's used for, it does seem to have this energy of balancing things out. And sometimes when we come to the 10s, again, we're balancing something out. One thing is ending, we've completed a cycle, and there's a new beginning ahead of us, or a continuing growth process, but we finished like phase 1, right? There's the 10s are bringing a continual growth, something that can keep growing. And I feel like this energy could be the energy of looking at where you're taking on too much responsibility, where something you're trying to balance out and or fix things that are not your job to fix, and it's not your job to carry it all alone, and it's not your job to balance things out. So this could be inspiring you to delegate. If it's something on your task list, you might have to delegate to others, not so much even just asking for help, but being open to receiving from the people around you the help that they can offer, the help that they can give. In another sense, it could also be letting you know that you need to take a more hands-off approach, that there's certain, it's not whether or not you can help. Sometimes it's A, whether or not you should, or B, how you do that, right? If someone's learning to do something and you've already maybe demonstrated it once, and then they ask you for help. Well, you don't have to dive in and fix what they were doing. You don't have to go ahead and do it for them or try and fix something. But you might have some information. You might have an answer. You might tell them where they can find the answer themselves because they need to learn to figure it out. You might, so like there's different ways that we can help. And there's people offer us, we say that we need this one thing and we ask somebody to help us. They're only going to be able to help us insofar as they have the capacity. And that could be a little bit different. Now, it's one thing. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. If your hands are full and you're trying to get through a doorway and you ask somebody for help, could you please hold that door for me? I mean, that's pretty straightforward, right? Most people, whether they're strangers that were passing by or whether, it's a family member or something like that. I mean, most of us, a straightforward situation for that, and we've specifically asked for, I need somebody to hold the door. But what if they're not like the door holding type and they just try to grab some packages out of your hand? You know what I mean? Like sometimes we just have to accept the help that we get, right? So to a certain extent, this is talking about not just asking for help or delegating, but also opening yourself up to receiving that. And if you delegate it to somebody, trust that they're just going to be able to do whatever they need to do. And for right now, you don't have to worry about it. You don't want to delegate and then micromanage, right? In another sense, this could be like looking ahead. If you have new plans, looking ahead to that new beginning and saying, wow, I've got some new plans. I've got some new things that I want to do. And this is going to be a lot on me. Like I'm going to be really busy for the next week or a couple of months or whatever the case might be, in order to get this started. I wonder, as far as resources go, I wonder what information or systems or people are available to help me out. You know what I mean? So you might really have to assess as you're looking ahead to a new beginning or looking ahead to switching something from its initial phase one to, okay, now I need to start thinking on this, but I still need something in place to take care of this while I'm doing that, right? So you might have to sort of adjust certain things. In another sense, if you're carrying around burdens and responsibilities that do not belong to you and that are draining you, you may have completed a cycle where you've let go of a lot of things that are just not your job. It's not your job to fix it. It's not your job to have all of the answers. If you're going to teach, help, or be an example to somebody, then there are 1,001 different ways that you can do that. And it doesn't always involve you being a superhero in terms of just doing it for people. You know what I mean? So today's energy with the 10 of fire, the 10 of wands, the comfrey, which can be healing in so many different ways. It's like us when we are working on a project. A lot of things can be brought up to your attention in different situations throughout your life, and maybe especially in terms of either projects or people and relationships, or having something to do with resources. It's like, you're really close to getting something done or started, to having some kind of a completion or get the ball rolling in a particular direction. I feel like maybe you've been prepared for this, but you need to take stock and realize that the people around you who work for you or care about you or, are a part of, right, the whole. this is really highlighting how are you in terms of being a quote unquote team member? How are you in terms of, even if it's just you, like I said, if you're taking stock of your resources, there could be mentors, investors, teachers, friends. There could be systems, IT people. There could be resources where you're not paying attention to. It's about you relating to another person and them being someone or being a part of something that can assist you. We don't necessarily like to think of people always as like objectify them in terms of being a resource or a tool so that I can get or so that I can do or so that I can be. But that's not really what's going on. What's going on is, recognizing they have something. That's what companies do. They have something that you need: information, system, a tool, help in some fashion. There's a skill there, right? And you can totally count that as one of your resources. So there's a certain level of, are you willing to delegate? Are you willing to receive the help that's offered? Are you willing to let go of the things or offer a different kind of help based on your boundaries to others? When somebody asks you for help, are they asking you to do it for them? Or are you taking on that responsibility and not letting them explore their own capacity to grow and change and make mistakes? You know what I mean? So there could be this level of healing relationships or reassessing your resources, accepting a certain amount of responsibility, but then again, also accepting receiving from others and being okay with that, like not having to micromanage it, not having to jump in, being able to trust that that person knows what they're doing and it's going to be fine. And if we run into a challenge or a problem or an obstacle, there will be a solution, and that's cool. Being able to, as you move forward in this next step, say, okay, how can I make the next steps easier, or what can I do to shift this? How can I move forward? How can I keep growing? And because it's like really coming close to a completion, really coming to a point where a new beginning is going to be taking off, and you need to allow yourself the opportunity to do that. So I'm wishing you a lot of peace and blessings, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember to take it easy. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to accept the help. And don't be afraid to offer your skills to the best of your ability to others when you can, and if you really need to. Remember to take care of your own boundaries as well. Wishing you all a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I thank you so much for being here and for listening and watching. I really do appreciate it.